The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Honey, Nick Cannon suffers a major loss while getting some unlikely new Twitter fans. Stevie J is asking for spousal support, and Faith Evans said, hell no. Justice Smollett, y'all, was found guilty for lying. And we have actor, model, and fabulous host of his podcast, FuckBoi Problems, Justin Rayne, right here on the Danyol Jaye Show. What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, your host, Danyol Jaye. You are watching the Danyol Jaye Show. Child, we got a lot to get into. And first and foremost, we got to start off on a somber note, okay? Nick Cannon done got on his show and done said that he done lost his child, okay? Apparently, his 5-month-old son has passed. He apparently had a very rare form of brain cancer. There was a tumor that basically put pressure on the baby's head or brain, and he passed away, unfortunately. He made this very public and very known on his talk show. It was in a very emotional clip that I saw, and I don't know how he could have done that. So my condolences goes out to Nick, to the baby mama, whose name I don't know, honey, charge it to the heart. Charges in my mind, not my heart. But condolences to the family, the parents, everybody involved, because I cannot fathom what it's like to lose your 5-month-old in that way. And then not to get your black ass on the show and do a fucking show. So, I mean, bravo to the professionalism, because I don't know that I would have been able to do that. But in other news, as Nick Cannon is concerned, Twitter is Twitter, because there have been images of Nick Cannon's baby making tool all over the timelines. And look, allegedly, supposedly, it's supposed to be Nick Cannon. The jawline looks just like he is. But let me tell you something. And I'm probably going to hell for putting these two stories back to back. But if that is Nick Cannon and he is working with what we saw, God bless you, sir. You have as many children as you want. I know a couple of people that wouldn't mind babysitting your kids in their stomach. You know, I might be one of them. I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm just putting it out there. But my God, it was rather, it was rather. But all of that aside, Nick, we here at the Danyol Jaye Show and Private Media Network, we send our condolences to you. Like I said, I can't imagine what it is to lose a child, let alone a child that is only 5 months old. So I hope that you guys take time to heal, to grieve, and to process the things that you need to process. Moving on, honey, Jussie Smollett. Can we talk about him? Jussie Smollett was found guilty for falsely reporting a hate crime. And according to CNN, this is the article, it says Smollett's attorney says he respectfully disagrees with the verdict and will appeal. And that's fine. You can do all the appealing the fuck that you want. Apparently they put his ass on the stand, and that is really what fucked up Jussie. Because once you put the person on the stand, the judge can kind of get a sense of who you are and what you're about based on what you say. And being that Jesse got up on that stand and started talking and the jury didn't believe a goddamn thing that he said, the judge now has to take that into consideration. When, in my opinion, John, your defense attorney should have shut your ass all the way. I would have never let your black ass on the stand to talk about this shit. I will say, and this is no laughing matter, I know that this is his real life, but baby, look here. I'm gonna hurt somebody's feelings when I say this. You aren't that great an actor to be able to get on the stand and convince a jury and a judge that you was innocent, baby. It just, you not no Academy Award winning actor like that. And I just think that you would have been better had you just shut the fuck up. You should have just sat there and let your lawyers do all the lawyering, because that really fucked you up. Now, according to the documentation, this particular what he's been convicted of, or what he's been found guilty of, is a felony, and he's looking up to he's looking to pay a fine of up to $25,000, as well as jail time of up to 3 years. Now, there are a lot of people saying that because he's a celebrity, because of who he is, he might not get that 3 years. He might be put on probation, but he is gonna pay that $25,000 fucking fine. And I mean, I saw, somebody told me that there was a meme out in the world that said, Jesse, we're so sorry about this verdict. Don't beat yourself up over it. And wait a minute. Oh, that tickled my spirit. It did. It tickled my spirit over by my kidneys. I just, my Shanta Plus Supreme over by my kidneys, it got tickled and it just hollered. Don't beat yourself up. Oh, baby, that's whoever posted that. Maybe it's a little too soon. It's a little too soon for that. Jesse, I don't know what the fuck to say. I mean, some people feel like your acting career after this is over. Some people feel like you need to go ahead and call Raheem and ask him for a spot on his OnlyFans, because where'd you getting this $25,000 from? I mean, that's really just the question. But you know what? Court is not about what happened, and that's what we need to realize. It's about what you can prove happened. And when you get your ass on the stand and you can't have your story straight, and you couldn't convince 12 motherfuckers, like not 1 or 12, you could, or 13, or however many of them motherfuckers is off to the side watching your black. You couldn't convince that near one up. Oh Jesus, my God, my God. Stevie J, honey, him and Faith Evans, now y'all know they filed for divorce, but here is the tee-hee-hee. This motherfucker is asking for spousal support. This raggedy little bastard, this Splinter Ninja Turtle looking motherfucker is asking for child support. I mean, for spousal support. And Faith Evans said, hell no. She's asking for she said, hey, absolutely not. We are in the same business, and neither one of us got a #1 hit on the records right now. I ain't paying him shit. I want to be able to leave this marriage with what the fuck I came in with. That's what she's saying. But here's the oddity in this story. The paperwork that was filed by Stevie J says that they have been separated, I want to say like somewhere in October-ish of this year. But baby, Faith's paperwork says they've been separated since May of 2020. That was a whole last pandemic. Okay, that was a whole 14 years ago. And I just want to say, it's in my opinion, in my humblest opinion, Stevie J, if you are asking for spousal support, how in the fuck are you going to cheat on your wife, drag her through the mud, make her look like a fuck fool, and then come back and say, I want a divorce and I want your money? You a bitch nigga, my dude. You a bitch nigga. You bitch made for this. There's no reason why. And I know some of y'all raggedy bitches is out here talking about, well, if it was the other way around, she'd be asking for spousal support. She ain't asked him for shit. She could have asked for that in the proceedings. She ain't asked him for shit. She like Tina Turner. All I want is what the fuck I came with. Okay, okay, get my name. I just want my name. Stevie, you bitch made for this. I don't agree with it. I think that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous at the most. And at the end of the day, you have been on all of America's television to see how raggedy you are, how much of a fuck nigga that you are. And speaking of fuck niggas, okay, fuck the boys and all the toys that they bring to the arena. We have a fabulous guest today. We have the model, actor, host, podcaster, brand ambassador, Justin Rayne. He is the owner and creator of FuckBoi Problems, the podcast. And so we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to get into his conversation. We're going to talk with him about all the things that he has going on in his career, his branding, a little bit of his love life, and y'all going to get to see this fine-ass black man that I get to call my friend. So stay tuned, grab a cocktail, go refresh your cocktail, honey, cuddle up with somebody because you are watching the Danyol Jaye Show. Stevie, go get your own fucking money, child. And welcome back to the Danyol Jaye Show. We have a fabulous guest. Now, I want to let you know that I first met this individual. I believe we met on Clubhouse. Back when Clubhouse was popping before Android users got on. No shade, but shade. Back when it was exclusive to iPhone users and it was popping in the late pandemic. And he had such a wonderful energy. He had a personality to die for. He was gorgeous. And he just had a wit and an intellect that you just left you wanting more. And he hit me up and said, hey, I have a podcast. I want you to be a part of my podcast. And I was like, I don't know about doing a podcast. But I did the podcast, and it was an incredible experience. Not only is he the creator of FuckBoi Problems, which is a podcast that talks about the issues that we go through dealing with fuckboys, but he is also a model, a brand ambassador. You can see his face on several campaigns, one of which is Upcircle Beauty, as well as the Clean Skin Club. Try to say that 3 times fast. He is all the way in New York right now. I met him when he was living at least near Los Angeles. But I want to introduce to some and present to others the fabulous, the phenomenal Mr. Chocolate himself, Justin Rayne. What is going on, Mr. Justin? How are you?
Hey, how are you? Oh my
Awesome and amazing
God.
as always.
Hey, beautiful.
I just want to say, as always, you look phenomenal. Your skin
Oh,
is on the glow of the gods. You are doing it for all of the children, the ladies, the lords, all of them. All of them are
I
bowing
did
down
this
to your
just for
skincare.
you. I got a congratulations just for you. Oh my God, no.
So I want to jump right into this line of questioning. So you have been doing what you do for quite some time. And I don't think that a lot of people know all of the facets that make up who Justin Rayne is. So what is your first passion? Like, if you were to say, this is Justin Rayne first, what thing do you gravitate to? Are you the host? Are you the actor? Are you the model? Are you the brand ambassador? Who is Justin Rayne?
I mean, I probably would say like I'm the host, or I don't know. Yeah, probably the host first and foremost. But really, it's just about presenting it to people. Period. I don't mind whether I'm hosting on my podcast. I feel like I'm hosting whenever I'm doing live events, when I'm doing philanthropy, when I'm fundraising. I think anytime I'm able to go out there in front of a crowd and perform and actually connect and interact with you on on a person to person basis and be able to create an experience, whether that be, sonically, whether that be physically in person, whether that be emotionally, however way that is. Sometimes it's inspirational, now with my skincare and all the stuff I'm doing there. People redefine their shine and help, like evaluate how they look at their skin. I think any way I can try to host and just, create a connection through people.
Now, one of the things, obviously, like I said, that I know you for is for your podcast, which is FuckBoi Problems. Tell
Mhm.
us how that podcast came to be. What urged you to want to create FuckBoi Problems?
Through my mess, okay? Through my mess of me wants some on healing for my, I wanted peace, okay? I wanted peace in my heart and I wanted it now. That's that white woman says in that clip. If you've ever seen it on the internet, but no, my good friend Kayla, she was sitting around. We were at work at the time. We were coworkers. She was starting her podcast. It's called the Wellness Glow Up. If you're a woman or a woman of color interested in health and wellness, you should definitely check her podcast out. But I was just helping her flesh out her ideas for her podcast. And when you're talking to your friends and they're like, well, and you're giving them all this advice and you're like giving too much 2 cents and they're like, "Well, bitch, you can do your own." And
That
then,
part.
yeah, and then she was like, "Well, what would you do?" And then I started coming up with all these different ideas. She was like, "Let me talk about how you've been a fucking boy." And then it was just on my heart from that Friday up until like the next weekend. And I was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna start doing this." And then I just started putting the pieces together, starting like January 2018, and then it just came from there. And of
Now,
course, like I said, it was
you,
accountability.
I have seen the promotionals. I have listened to the podcast. I've been on the podcast. I keep doing this like
You
I still got here,
have.
but I don't. And everything is done on such a phenomenal level. Like it's so top tier. But you, just before the show, were saying that this is just all you. This is you and a camera and a computer doing what it is that
Well,
you
it is
do.
not all me. I have
Okay,
a
well, let's get into
small,
about
small,
who's the
I have
team.
a small, I mean, I have a small team of people. For me, everything comes through dreams. Everything comes through vision. So I set intentions when I start thinking about what I'm going to do. It may come through a theme. Like each season is a different theme. So what a lot of people don't know, or sometimes they miss like those details. I'm a huge detail person. So what a lot of people don't know is each city, each season is a different city or a different like LGBTQ hub. So like New York was like based around New York. So I really pulled like the main cast of stories were New York people. So it was about stories about fuckboys and their experiences based there. Season 2 was all about Los Angeles. So the colors were beachy and bright and poppy and happy and very like kind of tropical. And then of course the cast was from LA. And now while we're in season 3, it's based in Atlanta. And I wanted to kind of have like that love Joan, like hot like fire type energy. Like some of the stories are talking about like Mr. Quick Trip, somebody you met just in a gas station or like at the let out after a function. And what do you think about a let out in Atlanta? Like these big parties after Pride. So I try to tailor the stories to like all those different things.
Now, a lot of
But
all of your
mhm.
podcasts, all of your guests, for the most part, are expressing stories of fuckboys that they have experienced. Have you yourself ever been a
75,
fuckboy?
25. 75, 25. So we try to at least like 3 or 4 people, they'll pop in each season actually being a fuckboy. Sometimes people tell stories about them being a fuckboy and having it done to them. And I try to make sure that we at least have like at least a quarter, at least 25% of the stories every season. I try to make sure that we have actually fuckboys. And of course, like I'm a fuckboy. I started season 1 telling my stories about no, I tell the story I tell a whole bunch of stories about me being a fuckboy on episode 1 if you ever want to find out. And then on season 2, we end the season actually with me telling a huge story about like the relationship that transformed me and evolved me into this person I am now and all the fuckboy shit I was doing in that relationship and then now, Sailor Moon, she's in her new form, as I call myself now. We're just trying to hold ourselves accountable as we heal and deal, and keep evolving.
Okay, I want you to
But
help my viewers
yeah,
because I'm sure that there are a lot of people watching who feel like they know what a fuckboy is. But for someone
yes,
who has an
yes,
entire
yes.
podcast dedicated to it, how do you define a true fuckboy?
A fuckboy is simple. First of all, the first thing I want to go ahead and make clear is fuckboy is a slang term. It's just like use the word bitch. So it has no gender at all attached to it. So that's the first piece of education you have to understand. Anyone can be a fuckboy. any person can be a fuckboy. Now, as far as who a fuckboy is a person who is thinking about themselves first. They're a runner, they're a track star. Instead of addressing the issues in their life, instead of healing past whatever pain, whatever adversity they've dealt with, they rather manipulate, finesse, and run past it to avoid it because they have not developed the tools to be able to process and deal with those things. And people respond, and that manifests in different ways. Sometimes that's like deceptive through deception. Sometimes that's through charisma. But fuckboys always move with intention. A lot of times they want to have their cake and eat it too. And usually that comes with emotion. So situationships are fuckboys' favorite activity. As I'm sure some of your viewers and listeners may have learned.
It's weird
Um,
because we talk about the fuck boy or fuck girl isms or the fuck them,
mhm.
whatever, um, in our everyday lives. But I think listening to your podcast, having been on your podcast, especially talking about the person that I was talking about on your podcast,
That was enough, baby. That took me out. Okay. Ooh.
one of the things that I feel happens is people really get into this energy where like they're dating, they go through this string of bad dates or these bad relationships and they just say, you know what, I'm gonna just go and be a fuck boy because the fuck boys seem like they're having it all, they're getting it all, and that's what people want apparently. You try to be the nice guy and people don't want you. You try to be the caring, nurturing one and people want to just treat you raggedy because they're not used to that. Having been a fuck boy, having dealt
Mhm.
with fuck boys, you're currently in a relationship.
Yes.
How
Yes, I
did
am.
you overcome those things to be the partner that you want to be and then to attract the partner that you wanted to attract?
I think the first step in, dealing with your fuckboy isms or whatever, I think it's about who you want to be. And I think it's about accountability. I always tell people, no one's born a villain. No one's born a fuckboy. Like you already said, sometimes people allow negative situations, heartbreak, whatever, to transform them. You say you never want to feel that way again. So you won't put yourself in that position. You won't give people access to you, but you want access to them, complete access. That's not how that works, and that's narcissism. But for me, it was just about each and every opportunity I was in. I was like, how do I want to walk? How do I want to look back at this? What type of integrity do I want to enter into this situation with? And then looking back at it, how will I feel about myself about it? So I had to make it intrinsic and make it about myself. I didn't have to make it about anything external, anything, anything, I guess, that was not connected to me. Because what I found actually through failure was every time I would tie it to job or family or all these external things, it would never work because it was not rooted in me. And I think whenever you want to change, whenever you want to grow, the foundation has to be within yourself. And if you let that kind of like propel you and kind of be like the gas or the fuel that kind of like goes into your engine yourself, you never let yourself down. Hopefully, hopefully,
Hopefully,
hopefully.
that's the
And if
hope.
you do, and if you do let yourself down, hopefully you will forgive yourself and pick yourself back up. Because I've definitely failed myself before. I want to be honest about that. But what I also chose to do was forgive myself and give myself another chance.
Well, with everything that you do, aside from hosting, aside from the podcast, like we've talked about, you're acting, you're a model, you're a brand ambassador. In all that you've done and all that you do, what is the most challenging obstacle for you, kind of balancing all of these hats that you wear?
I think balancing it all, I think, and also at this point in my life now, is finding the energy and motivation to do it all. Because I mean, so I started a YouTube channel recently. So that's a totally new thing for me, having to sit down where normally I don't have to like be in control of the camera or anything like that. I just show up and do my job and go. So now I'm having to deal with lighting and all these different things. So recording that, then having to figure out if I'm gonna edit it or if I'm gonna outsource it. I think the biggest like thing I've learned in all of this was to delegate. So that's why when you were like, no, I don't have a team, I'm like, well, I do got to be honest. I have learned to delegate and tap into some resources, so not to overexpand. But like I have a graphic designer and a web designer that I pay on retainer. I have an assistant, a lovely, lovely, amazing assistant that is super, super helpful. That just is there to catch my email and keep me together. And then I also have a producer that helps me with my podcast, and I have a costume designer that I work with. on a regular basis. But just between like those few people that are all good friends and
You know
family,
what? You get
but I
no.
do
I'm gonna
pay
stop
them.
because you get
But
on
I
my
do
nerve.
pay them all. I pay them all. Let me be
But
very
you get on
clear.
my nerve because you one of those people like, oh, I just have a few people. I have a stylist and a designer and a makeup
Well,
artist. It's like,
no. I said I have an assistant, a web designer, a graphic designer, well, like an audio mix, audio
but these are all the
engineer,
people that you
and
get.
a
These are
video
all the people that
editor.
you need. Who else do you need?
Shit,
Like a graphic?
I need more. I mean, I don't have an agent. I don't have a publicist. I don't have a manager.
Well, let's talk about that.
I don't have
So,
Pyro Media Company.
I mean, well,
I
if
don't
you
have
want to be a part of Power
behind.
Video, I mean,
I
we
don't
can
have.
set up a
I
meeting.
wish I had like a machine behind me, so I didn't have to do it all. Because when I say the energy is the hardest part, is because with me being the head and also the tail, that means my success and my failure also hinges upon me. If I'm tired and I'm not motivated, it does not get done. Versus if there was someone to be accountable to, it's so much easier to be accountable to external things than it is to be accountable to yourself. Like it is, I'll be very transparent. Like it's easier to have a person like bark at you. That's why personal trainers work so well versus you trying to just work out on your own. You know what I mean? So it would
Well,
be great
barking
to
at me
just
don't
like
work because
stay
I'm
on.
liable to cuss you out. Be like, I ain't
I
doing
feel
it.
you there.
Stop yelling
There's
at
a
me.
balance. Tough love is where you need to stop at.
And see, I'll be like, look, don't cut. Every personal trainer that I've ever had, I said, look, I am a
hmm
Taurus, so yelling at me is the quickest way for me not to do what you want me to do. But I want to go
Stubborn.
back to something that you said about not having an agent, not having, all of a manager and things like that. So
hmm
many people in this industry, in entertainment, in fashion, and we are all, at least I was indoctrinated with the idea that you have to have these things to be able to do what it is that you want to do. And
hmm
we're not gonna lie, having those things does make the job a little easier. It takes a little pressure off of you. But one of the things that I've noticed about you and your brand is that you have been able to create, to produce, to execute some amazing content on your own. What advice do you have for people who may not be creating the content because they're so worried about trying to get the agent, trying to get
hmm
the manager, trying to get the booking agent? Like, what advice would you give to that person who's holding off on their creation because they're trying to get their
hmm
team together?
Well, I will tell you the same thing that's been told to me, and I'm sure you've been told as well. It's never going to be perfect. There's never going to be the right day. It's never going to be. You're never going to have everything come to you together in a perfect bubble. That's not going to happen. But what you are going to have to do is take a risk on yourself. And I believe when you really believe in what you're doing, you'll take that extra step. But as far as trying to put their team together and figure that out, I always say, and what Issa I follow a lot of what Issa Rae said in all these interviews. So I would definitely go watch everything Issa Rae did because that's definitely where I started with some of my inspiration. But she just talks about looking in your inner circle. I would definitely encourage each and every one of you all to look into your inner circle, see if you have any friends that have creative talents, creative resources, skills that are transferable. Can you all do favors for each other? For me, I rewrite like my costume designer. He gives me a discount, but I handle all his website and all his writing, and I help him put together like his media plans, and we trade off like that. Or my producer, he works in PR, so he helps me with like the technical pieces in the organization, all of that, and reaching out to different brands for partnerships. So yes, you need to pay people and compensate people, but you can also try to get deals by looking within your circle. So I would definitely tell you to do that. And then also study people that are creating things that you love. Each and every one of my campaigns, like the core of it, and even like video content, I do like my reels on my Instagram. It's inspired by someone. I've seen someone else's video and I like something they did, and I was like, "Oh, let me take that and make it my own." I call it the Beyonce effect. That's really what I try to do because we all know Beyonce sitting around on her laptop watching everything we're doing, eagle eyed, and she's just like coming up with little ideas about what she wants to do. So I
Look,
very much
don't
am an
have the
eagle eye.
Bayhive come for me. Not that I'm afraid of the Bayhive,
Oh
but don't
no,
have
I'm
the
a part of
Bayhive.
the beehive. They can't come to you. I'm in the hive. You good.
Okay,
You
because
good. You can catch it.
Bayhive,
You remember. You safe. You're safe.
that's too
But
close.
no,
That's too close to saying that
I
Beyonce ain't got no original
understand.
shit. So I don't need the
Oh
half of the
no, it's
thing.
original. It's original if you created something from inspiration. It's original. That's why I look at it. But no, I constantly am like screenshotting it when I see inspiration and following people, or screenshotting people's profiles when I see things. And like I said, I just go to sleep with intention, and that really helps me come up with ideas too. And also, I had a lot of people tell me no and tell me I can do a lot with a little, and that just made me want to do it more.
What is your ultimate goal? Like where, when you think about where you want to be in life, like when
Hmm.
you look ahead in your journey and you see Justin Rayne in the perfectness of your success, what does that look like for you?
I will be what Andy Cohen and Ryan Seacrest thought they were in media.
Ooh, repeat that. We have to
Because
take civil
yeah,
play.
well, what a lot of people don't know is I actually am a director of content. I work in content in like 24/7. So in my day job, I lead content design and content management and creation for big brands like Chipotle and other business brands and Amex and stuff like that. That's what I do in my day job. So being able to take those skills and transfer them and apply them to my brand is very easy. It's just about not having the money and the resources, but I have all the ideas. um, but no, I feel the vision. I feel the momentum. I'm in a really big partnership right now. I can't announce with two or three huge businesses in media, but I just started this partnership with them and this influencer management company. But yeah, that's where I see myself creating content, working for a media brand, working for a TV brand, or something like that, helping them also create the content, and then also being able to be in the face and being able to host my own content too. But yeah, I love creating stories. I love helping people develop their own stories too. So I think that'd
If
be
you
it.
could have a mentor, living or dead,
Mm-hmm.
to just kind of sit with you and have a conversation, who would that person be?
Mm. Mm.
Not too
A
much pressure. Come
mentor.
on.
I know, no. Well, I'm thinking very intently. I'm thinking very intently. Now, I'm going to assume based on what I know about them and how they are. I'm going to say Oprah.
I mean,
I'm going to
she's a
say
staple.
Oprah.
She's a staple.
I mean, no, she's a staple. Well, I only say just because of what I want to do and the questions that I would have. She would be the person that would probably provide me with the most actual like information that I could use and resources. Because I feel like some people like in media, when you get up there, they just want to talk the big talk, and you don't really get any like support, or it's just like, hey, nice to meet you, email back. You don't get anything from there. But I feel like a conversation with Oprah, and from conversation, I've actually had a conversation with Oprah before when I worked at Hearst magazine. But yeah, so I know the kind of person she is. So
Oh, I just, I spoke to Oprah before because I used to work with her. Like
well,
the things that you
no. I
have
used
done.
to work in I used to work in fashion, so I styled a bunch of people. I started Victor Cruz, all kind of people. Selena Ebanks, yeah,
You know what? We are going to take a break because we got to pay these bills. But when we come back, we're
pay
going to
the
have more with
bills.
Justin Rain. We're going to talk about his brand ambassadorship. We're going to talk a little bit more about his acting and how he got involved in that. So stay tuned. Go refill your cocktails, honey. We'll be back with more The Daniel J Show right after this. Welcome back. You're
Hey,
watching The Daniel J Show. I'm your host, Daniel J, and I am here with the fabulous, the illustrious Justin Rayne of FuckBoi Problems podcast. Now, in addition to the podcast, in addition to being the entrepreneur that you are also an actor, you are a model, you are a brand ambassador. How did you, I want to know how you got into acting? Like, when did you first know that acting was something you could do and wanted to do?
Oh my gosh. Well, I went to performing arts school in high school back in Arkansas though.
All right. Y'all already
Yeah,
get
but I
mad when we
was
say Arkansas.
oh my gosh, yeah, no, they get on my nerves. But but I was in High School Musical. I was
Man.
in Sweeney Todd. I was in Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Like I had done all of that. Like I guess that kind of musical style theater stuff in high school. And then when I moved to New York City, I had been encouraged by someone named Kiko. A lot of people may know her for social media to audition for this show called Triangle, which is a very very popular LGBT web series. And I was like, well, like I miss acting. I want to try again. So I just gave it a shot. And then from there, I got cast as Christian, and it blew up. And then there was like, people love the couples together and all of that stuff. And social media takes its flight through the years. But oh my gosh, that was like 8 years ago. Oh my gosh,
It's funny because I was
yeah,
watching
8 years
your
ago when
acting
you
reel.
started.
I was watching your
Hmm.
acting reel and I saw someone else that was in one of the series that you was working on, Donnie. I actually know him in real life. So I was like, oh my God, it's such a small world. All these people knowing
Yes.
each other. Now, are there acting
Hmm.
roles currently that you like? Are there shows that you watch where you go, I could have played that role better?
What was it? I was watching something recently. Hmm.
Because I know it's a lot of shit that I watch and I'm like, I could have did so much better than that.
Oh. Ah, oh my gosh. What else? See? I mean, I feel like in Dune, I was watching Dune, that movie Dune. I was
Okay.
over there. Yeah.
Do you think that? Okay, I'm asking. This is gonna be so
Mhm.
shady. I am
No,
sorry
this
to
is
all of the
shady.
fans of this show, but I'm gonna ask the question anyway.
Mhm.
So there was a show called P Valley.
Oh,
Uh,
P Valley. Yeah, I could be in that show too. Yeah, really
I so feel
easily.
like you could be in that show. I feel like you
Yeah,
can rip
yeah,
in that show.
yeah. I could have been Diamond. I would have really loved to play Diamond. Because I feel like the dude that plays Diamond now, he's kind of whack. Like, he's just light skinned. Like I feel like he does okay, but I feel like it's just like that standard like light skin
Okay, now which
cut,
one is
like
not?
with a
That's not.
beard.
What's his name? Tyler Lampley. That's not him, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's him.
Oh, but he's so fine.
But see, or do you want talent or do you want beauty? Not to say that you can't have talent and beauty, but I mean, what's more important?
But you know what? I'm an old school actor. Like I come from the school where I would rather you have the chops than have the look. That's just me. And we know that there are a lot of male actors who are nice to look at, and you look at them on screen and you wonder how they got this job, and then you look at their body, the scene where they have no shirt, and you go, "Oh, I get it now." I was recently at
Mhm.
something for oh my god, I forget what production company it was, but they were doing like a table read or whatever, and there was a guy there from Insecure, and very great looking guy, very amazing, and I was just, but watching him in this table read not be able to
Mhm.
act, I said, how in the hell did you book Insecure? But then he's 6 foot,
Yeah, I mean, there are
got a
tons.
nice
I mean,
body. It makes
there are tons
sense
of people. I mean,
to
there are
me.
tons of people.
So
Yeah,
moving on, in regards to your modeling and brand ambassadorship, you are currently with quite a few brands that
yeah.
you do promotion for, and a lot of it is skincare. Two of them is Upcircle Beauty and Clean Skin Club. Tell me how you
Mhm.
got involved with those two partnerships and how those opportunities came to be.
Yeah, well, Clean Skin Club, I actually work with them. They make cleansing towels, which a lot of times people don't know that like the hand towels that we're using are like I guess like the wash rags. Let me use nigga terms. The wash rags that we use, the wash rags that we use on our face. Those are not really hygienic. Once you wash them, you can your dead skin cells. You're still having dirt and grime and things like that still on the towel. So these actually they exfoliate. They get the dirt off and they don't transfer. And a little trick that I do is you can get like a 50 pack for like $35. I can get the extra large pack. I cut them in half, and you can use two. You can use one for two because you don't. They're really big, so you don't really need them for that. And with my code, you can get 20% off. So you can just go to that little link right there, link.tree/, just around at the top, and you can just click that link that says Clean Skin Club for 20% off. And Upcircle Beauty,
Promotion. If you go to Justice Linktree, you will see all of the you will see the Clean
yeah.
Skin Club there. If you click on it, you will get 20% off using his code. Okay, but those are hacks that I think a lot of people don't really consider, especially when they look at like brands that they would consider like expensive brands that aren't necessarily the brands that you can get in CVS.
Mhm.
But I like that, honey. Just get the 50 pack, cut them in half. Instead of 50, you got 100. I love it. So how did Upcircle
Mhm.
Beauty come to be? How did that opportunity present itself to you?
Upcircle Beauty just reached out to me. Like I was telling you when we were on break, I've been manifesting about 6 months ago that I wanted to start shifting to into brand partnerships as an influencer. I wanted to restart that phase in my content career again and really take it to like a place of monetization, like past just getting paid for like sponsored posts. And with that, I started reaching out to every brand that I wanted to reach out to. And Upcircle actually they reached back out to me and they were like, "Hey, we have these products. We really love for you to try them out and make some content if you like that." And then we just decided to partner together. And then they were like, "Hey, so we want to make this a recurring deal." So then, we made like an affiliate code. And then from there, like I said, so many other brands came about just from me doing a bit of work, doing some math, taking the time to structure like a proper introductory pitch, and then sliding in the DM with my stats, my information, and my rates, and really put my best professional foot forward. And you would be surprised. I would have never imagined that I would have been able. I just went down the list to you before. I never would have imagined that many I would be working with before the end of this year. When my prayer to God was just, please let me just get two.
And now you
So
have how many?
yeah, God multiplied that like tenfold. So blessings, blessings, blessings.
One of the things that I've always wanted to ask, especially for people who do brand ambassadorship, what are some tips that you can give for people who want to do it? Because I know that there are some people who say that they want to be a brand ambassador, but they don't really
Hmm.
understand what that entails. They don't understand like what goes into representing that brand. So
Hmm.
what would be like the top five no things to do when you are a brand ambassador, and what are like the top five things to do if you're trying to be a
Of
brand ambassador?
course. I would love to share. Okay, so let me start with like I guess like the top five no things to do. No, don't DM them prematurely and just at them. I would say don't don't ask don't
Wait,
ask for
repeat that again, because there's some people who just like to slide into that DM and like say, "Hey, I want to represent
well.
your brand."
Let me, let me give you a better caveat. I don't think I personally would not encourage anyone to try to be a brand ambassador or reach out to a brand if you have not done anything previous like that on your channel. So, when I decided I wanted to do skincare content, I had to start putting skincare content on my channel on my own, just pro bono, just doing whatever I wanted to show myself as an authority in skincare. Yes, I already had great skin and I was already known for beauty and things like that, so it made it a little bit more transferable. But I still need to establish myself as like, yes, this is what I do. This is like the kind of content that I make. Because what a brand's gonna do when you DM them, they're just gonna go to your page, and if they don't see any pictures of you and your outfits, or you in boohoo, or you wearing this stuff already, they're not gonna respond to you. They're gonna be like, oh, we're not accepting any partnerships right now. Or they're just you'll see seen, and baby, you'll just be left on red. I promise you, your feelings will just be hurt. So that is a definite, definite do make plenty of content that you like already put that content on your channel before you reach out to anyone. So decide what you want to do, make content around it already. Do figure out how much you're worth. There are a lot of equations to find. There are a lot of websites that tell you how to do the equation to find out your engagement. You need to know your impressions. You need to know your average reach. I will also tell you do make a media kit. You can go on a site called Fiverr. You can go on Canva and make a media kit. You can Google and look up on Google Images how to make a media kit. I literally went on Google Images, looked up inspiration, and that was my template and my format for how I wanted to make mine. It doesn't have to be that difficult. I would say do invest in a link tree or do invest in some type of place for people to like one safe space for people to be able to connect with you. I would say don't don't do it for free. I definitely would say my rule. I actually tell starting influencers
Well,
to
hold
get
on.
somewhere.
Let's
And
park
you
there
gotta have
for a
experience.
minute.
What?
Let's park at this because one of the biggest things on TikTok is this
Uh-huh.
conversation about payment. Because for
Uh-huh.
a lot of creators, they have the marketplace and brands can hit you up and do all this, that, and the other. And I remember being in I was watching a TikTok of a woman who was giving advice on how to be a brand ambassador and what to charge. And she was like, I
Uh-huh.
have X amount of followers and I charge like $8,000 for a post.
Uh-huh.
Now, mind you, she is caucus.
Uh-huh.
And the conversation was when it came to folks of color,
Uh-huh.
that's not always that doesn't always fly. Like they're not gonna look at us and be like, oh yes, we're willing to pay you eight
Oh
thousand
no, they never
dollars
want to pay you. They never want to pay you.
at
When I
all.
tell you, when I tell you the things that I have been asked to do, the hoops, but then you also have to know when to draw a line. So, like I said, I had my prayers, I set my intentions for myself. I created a rule when I first started. I was like, okay, so if it's a big brand or it's somewhere that you want to have start a create a relationship with, what I will also say, do ask for an email, do ask for a contact, do create a relationship with these people because what happened was what I did, my first one free. Yeah, we'll do something really, really small. I do a small thing for you. I do like a reel, I do a post, a picture, whatever with this product. You send me a product for free. I'll see if I like it. And then from there, you reach back out. Hey, let's talk about a paid partnership. You can't do it this quarter. Do another do follow up. Um, but yeah, so from that, then you have to figure out your rate. Like I said, you have to go. Just do. You can literally look up your engagement, all that stuff based on your followers and all that stuff. But start small and be realistic because yeah, they already don't want to pay you. So sometimes creating that relationship can be better than that, better than nothing at all. But you also want to get what you're worth. So you want to find out what they're paying other people too.
And I think it's important for people to know, especially for those again content creators, because that is a huge thing right now with Instagram, with TikTok. Like a lot of people are creating content. You start out doing it for fun. I know I got on TikTok purely because I was bored and I was in quarantine. Because prior to quarantine, I said I would never get on the tickety tockety. It just wasn't a part of my journey in
Um,
life. And then that quarantine hit, and I said, "Well, bitch, I'm just bored. I need something to do." So
mhm.
one of the things that I will just echo and say is because content creation is such a huge vein to really put yourself out there, gain a following, and also do these partnerships, do these business partnerships, be a brand ambassador. You have the vehicle to do it. Know what your worth is. Know where your hard no's are. Know what you're not willing to do. But know it within reason. Like if you got 3,000 followers on Instagram, you probably not gonna be able to ask for $30,000 to be a brand ambassador. It's just
But you could get an email and you could get free products and you could get put on a PR list.
come
And guess what?
on and talk
That's
about it.
and that'll have your name. You'll be a name that people are familiar with, and that also means that you'll have free product on a consistent basis to be able to create new content with. And I promise you, that's how a lot of people get to work with Rihanna. She starts out sending you free product, and then from there, it becomes a partnership where it's paid as the more she sees you creating content with it. So you really get what you put into that type of stuff. Those brand partnerships, but they're an investment in time.
Justin, what's one thing about you that people don't know but would be shocked to know?
Um, I
I mean,
don't
I
know.
have a, I have one that I think is
You
is
have one?
pretty valid.
Well, my favorite color is pink.
I
I
mean,
feel like I feel like people, I don't know. People might be surprised to hear that, or like that. I'm obsessed with the Little Mermaid. Like if
come
I
on,
could
you
be a
want to be part
mermaid,
of this world, honey. You
yeah,
want to
I
be part of
do.
this
If I could be a if I could be a mermaid, I would. I have an unhealthy like obsession with mermaids and mermaid culture. Like I love water. If I could like live under the sea, I would. Like I dream about it.
So one thing that I'm gonna say about Justin that
Hmm.
most people probably get very wrong because of how gorgeous he is. He is one of the sweetest, most humble, most kind individuals I have ever met. Um, and I can say that in truth and in honesty.
Oh,
And
you
you
know
don't,
I'd rather die for you.
huh?
You know I'd rather die for you.
But I say that because you don't meet many people like that in this industry. You know what I'm saying? Like you meet people who are trying to attach themselves to your come up. You meet people who are trying to use you for an opportunity, but very rarely do you meet other individuals who are content creators, who are in the industry, who are doing what you're doing, that are just genuine people and just want to genuinely connect and just want to create friendship. And you are one of those people in my life. Like you are definitely a part of the village that I talk about when I talk about my village. You're in that village because you, from day, like all the way back in Clubhouse, like you were just so authentic, so kind, and it was refreshing. It was so refreshing to experience that in this arena. But I'm not going to gush on you all the time, you know, anymore
Aw.
because you might turn B red, as chocolate as you are. You might turn B red. But
I know. I just
tell
can't
the people,
purple.
tell the people how they can get in contact with you and what you have coming up in the future.
Yeah, like I said, you can just go to this link right here, linktree/Justin Rayne. It's probably gonna be the easiest way to connect with me. All my links are there, but my Instagram is Justin P Rayne Rayne. It's the same on TikTok. If you want to follow me on Twitter, we have a fun time with Kiki over there too. It's Rayne Rayne _Justin. Like I said, definitely listen to FuckBoi Problems. We've all met one. Definitely subscribe to my YouTube if you want skincare content, you want fashion content, you want styling content, and follow me and let's have fun and do all the great things and DM me. And if you like Drag Race, I host a show live on Sundays too, where we talk about all the drag race and beautiful things. So I try to stay busy.
Come on, busy and books, honey, giving good Cali price. Well, Justin, thank you so much for being a guest. We're going to put you back into the green room, but right now it is time for Hey Puddin'. So obviously, I'm bald. There's no getting around that. And today's Hey Puddin' is concerning why I went bald. A lot of people have been looking at me going, oh my God, it looks great. You look good with or without hair. You're still beautiful, which is, kind of crazy to me. There are a lot of people, especially in my Black community, child, because we don't do change very well. A lot of people have asked me, do I got cancer? Am I sick? What's wrong? Am I going through a Britney Spears moment? None of that is going on. But this is the message for today's Hey Puddin', and it does link into why I shaved my head. I shaved my head because on my Instagram, I've been very public that I've gone into this deep dive into myself, that I know that there is a new season ahead of me that is filled with blessings, but is also filled with obstacles. And I didn't want to enter that season not having done the work. And I was in the mirror on Monday of this week, and there was something inside of me that said, Daniel, you're holding on to old things. And you're holding on to these old things because you're afraid of being alone and you're afraid of what your life could be without these things and without these people. And as that feeling and those words settled into my spirit, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I'm going to shave my hair because I needed to have a physical representation of getting rid of something old and allowing and making room for the rebirth or the new growth of what is new in this new season of my life. So the word today is, hey, Puddin', free up the space. Let go of the old things. Let go of the friendships that don't bring you joy. Let go of the relationships that don't make your eyes light up. Let go of the family members who do not add value to your journey. Let go of those feelings, of those hurts, of those pains, of those doubts, of those fears that do not progress you closer to the dream that you want to live in life. Free up the space on your table so that they can start bringing you the dishes that are full of love and peace and success and prosperity. Many times we don't have what it is that we've seen, the glimpses, the visions that we've seen in our lives. We don't have it because ain't no room on the fucking table. But it's your table. You've got to request for those things to be removed. So that is the message for today. Free up the space so that you have room for the newness that is coming into your life. My hair is going to grow back because I got genes like that. Okay, a bitch is not balding, it's not receding. The hair's going to grow back. But the shaving of my head was a physical representation of something that I decided to do, which was let go of old things, let go of old people, remove the things that do not add value, and free up the space for the new things, for the new blessings, for the new journeys, for the new opportunities, for the joy, for the love, for the peace that is going to present itself to me in this new season of my life. You are looking at your new season. Free up the fucking space so that you can enjoy that season. Make sure that you tune in every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 a.m. Eastern, because we are here every week with a fabulous show. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, honey, I don't know what the fuck you're waiting on. Click that subscribe button, click that little ring-a-ding-ding bell so that you get updates on when we are live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, as I always say, you are marvelous. You are magnificent. You are awesome and amazing in every single solitary way that you were made. But if you so choose to be malicious, mean, cruel, bitter, and just plain nasty, bitch, do that shit in the room by your fucking self. And don't you send out no invites. Until next time, I'm your host, Danyol Jaye, and you're watching The Danyol Jaye Show.